Hello, I am back once again, and today is Wednesday once again. No, it almost feels like it happened last week as well. So, yeah, it is time for some more Derail Valley, and hopefully, I can unlock the DE6 and pull the big load. Yeah, for that we have to be on the rails, and we need time for that. So let's start it. This time I'm somewhat prepared. Hello as well. I was trying to be perfectly on time. I could try to be like on the second because on Windows 11 you can turn on seconds. So I have those turned on. I tried to be like on the second. Like I started exactly 8. But I wanted to give 2 minutes of starting soon time. So, everybody has 2 minutes to react to the notification and other stuff to get ready. And yeah, my Stream Deck didn't want to function. Didn't want to do the starting the recording and streaming when I pressed the button that I use for that. But oh well. Right, what kind of fees do I have? I have no fees. I have 128, so it's gonna remain dry, which is good. Alright, we're at Machine Factory. Where would we want to go? And that could be... no, that's a bit of a weird one, is it? Like, I'm currently at Machine Factory. I could, in theory, travel to Forest Central and then back up here. What else do we have? This is a load and prepare. This is a load and prepare for a longer job. That's an unload. This is an unload. This empty cars to oil refinery. Ooh. I might just go for just this one. Like, if there is a... It all depends on what kind of power we have here. If we have a DE2, then screw it. I'm gonna grab the DE2 and run this one. Just to force Central to pick up another load there. To then use the load from there to get somewhere else. And check Forest Central for any demonstrators. Because for those who don't know what I'm referring to, or I'm watching Derail Valley for the first time, you have 6 demonstrators scattered around the map. Usually they're at stations, but they can be a bit further away. And they are specifically, well, according to the lore, is where it's said that this game is a lore, they were, or usually in real life as well, a demonstrator engine is a way for a locomotive manufacturer to basically demonstrate their engines and for a railway company to try them out. Like, there is this new engine. Let's test it, see if we have a good use for it. So to make a one-off or like a prototype model. Yeah, see, there. That means I'm not gonna use this big red inefficient waste. I'm gonna use this cute little guy. The 085. I'm on the wrong side again. Open up the door, off with the handbrake. Let's locate the cars first. Because that was basically a way to test new locomotives, and if stuff went well, they would then buy multiple. Like you have for each locomotive, there's a demonstrator variant. You have a DE2. You have an SO60. I have found the SO60 already. Same with the DM3. DH4 I'm still yet to find. S2A2 I have found. And the DE6 I have found. What am I looking for actually here? Tractors. Where are the tractors? I wonder where they are. 85, 85. So they're right here. And usually in this game you have a dash as well, which functions on F. However, due to me wanting a little bit of a challenge, because previously I've played this game so much it just becomes second nature and sort of boring, almost. So I decided to challenge myself and turn that off. Which means I can't hop fences either. Like, I just can't. And also everything is more expensive from like maintenance stuff. Like fuel, sand, oil, all more expensive, meaning the DH4 is really, really inefficient to run. Brake cutoff, put it in gear. Those are the wipers, front headlights on. Check my compass. We're aiming south, we want to be aiming south. Flip the breakers. And move forward. Like, I could grab the DH4, but that wastes a lot more fuel and it's just inefficient to run. And I want the license for the DE6, the big orange locomotive. It is one of the most powerful, because you have the DE2 and the S060 as sort of starter engines. They are light, they either have limited range or limited pulling capacity. Like the DE2, you start with that, it can pull very little. Like, as you can see, it can you have your flat ground. I have to be on the lookout for my switch though. You have your 2% uphill and 2% uphill in the rain. You basically want to either look at the weather forecast and then decide which one you need, or just assume the wet. As you can see, the DE2 is quite bad. The S060, a little bit better, but it has very limited capacity. It is a tank engine, so the water tank is on the engine itself, instead of a tender behind it, like the big steam engines, which can hold a lot more water, meaning it has, as you can see, range 2, means I'm range 3 out of 5. Also, we are passing the switch, so brakes, brakes, brakes. We're on a downhill. Right, power. Oh, that's a wrong key. But the DM3 is a little bit more powerful, but that's some diesel mechanical. So that is gonna struggle a little bit with driving, because you have a manual gearbox. You don't have a clutch. You have to let the throttle, like, let go of the throttle, close it entirely, shift into the gear, then apply throttle again. It is kind of annoying. Then you have the DH4, the red one, that's right there. Quite inefficient, but it's a mid-game engine. It can pull stuff. Does overheat semi-quickly though, so yeah. Then you have the S282. This is a big steam engine, and as you can see, it can pull. It used to be we're going the wrong way, yeah. It used to be very slippery, like it didn't have enough grip. It would just, that's what I struggled with the most with that engine. I would go uphill, I would manage it, but as soon as you go off the hill, you suddenly have a lot more like you suddenly have the same amount of traction, but you don't have all the weight pulling it back, preventing your wheels from slipping, so then your wheels slip. However, most of your train, where all the weight is still on the hill, so now you're rolling backwards. And it's basically how it always goes with me, but according to the changelog, they have provided more substantial... Like, they increased the traction. Which means hopefully I can have more grip. Also, I'm tired. I ordered car parts and a fire extinguisher arrived. Yes, I have train mug. It's because trains. Good mug. With some tea, because tea is always a good idea. Right, what is my speed? Let me save up on fuel. Slow down quite a bit. Is it fragile or is it... Yeah, it is fragile. But that means it's more money. Right, we're doing below 5, so... I guess I'm gonna be running towards that station office. Get my job turned in, then ride all the way, or run all the way back. By that time my locomotive should have connected, and I can just roll out. Take another sip of tea. It's still quite hot, but it's still nice. And it lubricates my throat a little bit, so I can talk more. And go on for longer, because apparently if you talk a lot, which streamers often do, unless you are a silent streamer where you just sit there. Because there are people that are not comfortable with their voice being on the internet or being heard by people. It can be a thing. That's why some streamers are completely silent. They just use either a chat function, some subtitles, or maybe they don't have the opportunity to talk because of their environment. You know, if you have a family member that's always in the same vicinity as you are, they have less chance to actually talk because, well, yeah, you don't want to. I can really understand. I completely understand if you don't want somebody else just continuously talking through your stream. Just a lot of background noise. Right, now we can connect this. Screw it. Shut. Also, my weekend was completely filled with trains. Oh wait, I do have to do this. Brakes are slowly but surely filling. And why did a reservoir completely dump out? Like, were all of these cars completely empty? Yeah, that's something else I turned on. The brake reservoirs fill up slower. So the main and the brake pipe are things that take time. But yeah, there were rail days here in the Netherlands, so I had a tour of a place where they fixed rail cars and like cargo wagons until like the 2000s, the early 2000s, because after that it got shut down because it wasn't economically viable anymore. Yay. There we go. But after that I went to the railway museum because they had opened a lot of the trains, so looking inside, being inside of old trains is fun and interesting to see. And then we got to on Sunday, because I was with a friend, we went to another museum where they have a steam tram, where they still run a small service between two small cities, but it's it is still a fun place to be. Right, it should be the switches set correctly. But we spent some time on that. It was a lot of fun. You can actually sit outside. There you go. Like, you need to be... Like, you can be outside. Because modern trains don't have that anymore. But old railway wagons have this thing where they have a little open space before they continue to the next car. Yeah, man. Tired. So we were basically outside for like 90% of the journey. Just vibing, enjoying the wind, enjoying the locomotive. When we could see it. Talking with people, heard that they might need some volunteers, or that they could use them. So I am thinking about that, if I have spare time, of course. They also need extra technical people, so, you know. If I can have some experience firing an engine, that would be a very fun and cool thing to do. Just, what have you done during the summer? I've operated a steam locomotive. Like, that would be amazing. Let's see, 50. Let's slow down, because it's 50 and it's downhill and we're doing 60. You hear the spicy sounds of going slightly too fast around the corner. So we are allowed to do 80 here. Yeah, I'm still thinking about maybe doing that or doing some other volunteer work there. Because it would just be fun. And of course you get to talk to a bunch of people, which isn't really my thing. Like, I'm kind of introverted, but something out of my comfort zone, just, you know, shoveling coal. Because of course you have to steam like you have a firebox, but you cannot just throw it in there. They would create a hot spot. You have to, if you want a proper fire, you have to equally fire it. You have to put sometimes in one corner, sometimes in the other. Sometimes in the middle, sometimes close, sometimes far away. And it's not that big. They don't have very big locomotives. Like, they don't have like the big ones that people are used to in like the United States or other places. It's more like small British locomotives for that size. Maybe a little bit smaller even. They have a very tiny one. But of course, it's all dependent on your skill, all that stuff. And I don't even know how you would get that experience. Like, would probably require a bunch of training to be proficient in throwing coal in the hole. Seriously? You say, alright, it's flat. Nope, it's a 1.3 uphill. Right into a 30, which would already be this bend. Where does C2 inbound? Where's my station map? So I'm coming in from the north. We wanna... Oh, C yard is there. So I'm basically wanna go in, through here, back it up in there. Right, now I don't have to brake, I can just apply throttle, or undo the throttle and just slow down. It's also not that nice that it's dark out. And I turned sleeping off, so like there's an S060, I think. Yeah, this should be the B yard. Yep, this is the B yard. The C yard is over there, but that's a dead end right there. And now I can back up, pick up a new load from the station office, which is somewhere here, I guess. I mean, it should be over here somewhere, but before I do that, I'm actually gonna take a big look around to see if I can find a demonstrator. Because that would be awesome to find one here. Switch is coming up. Uphill, so... It's gonna slow us down together with the brake. I want to go past and then change the signal. I'm using the big brake. The train brake said independent brake because independent is just your locomotive. Your train brake is all the wagons attached to it. Of course, if you have to connect to the air, good luck. You will not stop for shit. And I realized I could have taken the other way as well. Oh well. I'm gonna ride this back cart while holding my flashlight out. And we want to go there, yes. I want to wait till it slows down a bunch, or till it's... I can see where I have to put it. I think I might want to do this. For the C2 inbound, which I need to go to. Alright, that is... Those are the correct switches now. Or let's jump off. Run a little bit forward. Come on, where's... I mean, this is definitely gonna go in there. Means that I can shut that one off and just leave it there. Right, handbrake. Handbrake and... let go of some air. Now we're gonna turn our engine off, otherwise we're burning fuel. And we can't refuel here, so I want to turn it off and preserve enough fuel so I can at least make it to the steel mill or any other destination that is required. Come on we go. You have to jump on now. I can rely on the thing anymore. Forest Central. 12k. Steel mill. City South. Ooh, City South is an interesting one. That's too heavy. That's really far away. This is a decent... Is it? It's too much, isn't it? So this one. Too much. This one, too much. This one, manageable. We have shunting, which is drop off and unload. We're not doing shunting. But then prepare for log cars for departure to the sawmill. Actually, the whole empty cars does sound interesting. The route I'd have to take is squiggle this, go on the squiggly line here. Down here, which this is all very much downhill. This one is uphill. Then go straight here. Through Coal Mine Central and then to here. And I think I have to, because I have the museum license. Museum. Yep, I own the museum license. I can refuel and restock there. And show where the demonstrators actually go. Can I see what time it is on the clock? Is there a clock here? Yes, there is. I mean, it's almost 6, so it's starting to turn into daytime again. That's a good thing, at least. In my eyes. And for your viewing enjoyment as well, because I can understand if it's quite dark. Oh yeah, ad incoming. I hate that I have to run those, but it's the only way to prevent pre-roll ads from existing. I guess I can take a look around there. I could also use a flashlight as an indicator. Like, it's not daytime yet because it isn't charging. Like, that is a fully... Like, that's an operational steam engine. Yeah, I don't see any of them, any of the stuff here. Sad. But oh well, we're gonna go to City South anyway, so... Let me grab this map, and we wanna go... That one is already set correctly, this one is set correctly. To go there. Hopefully, yes it is. We're gonna go out here, we're gonna go there, yes. Then from here, we wanna go there. Now we're going there. Then here we're already going this way, here we're going this way. Apparently, you know what, we'll see. First I have to look for 72. Found it. I'm getting lucky. Now I've said it, I'm gonna be unlucky. Because that's how that works. Especially for me. That's an... Wait, where's the piece of paper? Where is my piece of paper that says how much I've had to drink? How much I still have to drink? Where the... Why is it? Right here? No, is it under... Oh, it's underneath here. Got a piece of paper on which I have put... Because for some reason, Obsidian Blade 266, one of my moderators and good friends, decided it was funny to do 100 hydrates. Because of course. And I'm honoring all of them, slowly but surely, and at some point there will be a drinking stream. I'm thinking, like, first I wanted to get a sponsor and everything, but then I realized all the drinks that I want to sponsor me are not healthy to drink in large amounts. So, in order to be a decent role model for some people and actually drink healthy, I am just going to use water and water adjacent things like tea and such. So I actually, you know, don't fill my body up with sugar and all that stuff. Trust me, your body will like you more if you don't shove a lot of soda into it. that will also cause a dip in your energy because you'll consume the sugar, get a huge amount of energy because wow. And then you have a crash because all the energy is gone and now you're just whoop. Come on, stretch a little bit. Bunk. Connect. Connect, connect. Undo the handbrake. There's the office, so what we want to do is get in. Start rolling. And while rolling, I'm gonna get the thing and then do the journey. Because currently I have 141,000. This one doesn't really give a lot, but I'm not running big loads. C4S. Oh, that's that one. That is annoying. Alright, let's jump in. Give it the beans. Because we will be arriving from this side. And we will be basically going through here. Yes, this is all aimed at that. And then we back up into... I think so. Then we back up into here. And that's the C yard. Which is C... Wait, where do I go? C4S, I guess? Yeah, C4S. So, we'll be coming from this side. We want to switch that there. Alright, that should be semi-correct now. So, you've already used a bunch of fuel. And we have to make it all the way down here. It is a distance, but I feel like we can make it. Well, this is a little bit of an uphill. And I'm pulling a lot of cars. Like, it's not a lot of weight. It's a lot of cars. One plus 1.9. Youch. Yes, let me keep the throttle on. That's a lot of train. Oh, that's a less aggressive hill. Also, because we're on the road, I don't see need to get out of my locomotive, so we shut the doors. Yeah, the reason I might be tired is because I was on the phone with my dad again. While on the way back home. But because using your phone while driving is illegal, I was smart about it, put one of my wireless earbuds in, and connected my phone, connected my call through there, so I could talk and just keep my hands available, because hands-free calling is allowed. Because, you know, it's... The reason it's called hands-free is because you don't use your hands. You don't hold a phone. You just press a button and boom, you can just speak while driving. Yeah, that was a... I was on my way to the hardware store because I ordered a life hammer and an ice scraper. Ice scraper I'm not sure if I'll ever have to use it, but I want to have it in case of. Otherwise, we're gonna have trouble, potentially, when it's cold. And I'm gonna have to use cards or something other semi-sharp. So it should be a house. Yeah, there's my house. Like that is this building on the map. Oh yeah, fast travel is also turned off. Yeah, but like driving is a lot of fun. But there are some people that make it less fun. Man, I'm only 42 minutes in. I'm already quite tired. So we're gonna have that switch coming up. Hopefully it's aimed to the left. And like for the confusing bit, you think I have to go to the right, but you have to set it to the right because you want to go there. But you're coming from this side, so it's to the left, which it is. I particularly see the UI a lot. I usually just look at it. But a -3 on both ways. Of course, that's because I'm not sure what they did, but in an update they changed how that works. I think Forest Central used to be a dead end. Nick connected it through a weird scuffed line. Scuffed it is. Yep, we have a derailment. How does one exit? I'm in a bit of a pickle now. Wait, I can crawl through the windows. Yeah. Whoops, I guess. Alright, how much is this gonna cost me, and is it cheaper to, I guess, cancel the job would be quicker? Because re-railing the locomotive, like just the locomotive would already put me... I guess I have to re-rail the locomotive at least. I mean, the cars are expensive as well to re-rail, so we'll just discard the job. And I guess go to the steel mill and park it up there. Or, you know what? No, screw it. We're getting this back on track. I made the mistake, so I'm paying for it as well. Where's the thing? There. Cool. Seriously? Connect. Damn you. Um. Yeah, this is actually broken. It is impossible. It is physically impossible for me to fix this. So we are going to walk to the farm slowly but surely. With yeah, that's gonna cost us a lot of money. Oh boy. Well, there go our chances for the D6. Damn it. Oh well. Let's hope there isn't a steam engine here. Son of a banana. I don't have a shovel. If I had a shovel, I could operate it, make some money off of it, and drive it and repair it, and then take an electric one. But I don't, so this job is gonna go right into the trash. Meantime, this is poor. Ouch. But I can't do anything here either because, you know, it only has a singular steam engine. So work train, hand car. What? Hold on. Let me check the settings, controls, control bindings. Yeah, dash is set to F, mouse mode, train controls. Center release, fire door, injector, damper, blower, shovel, coupling, coupler stuff. Is it under other? D and G. What are the hand car things? Throttle analog, brake up, brake down, brake analog, brake up, reverser, Y and H. Is it Y and H? No. Stand, wipers, headlights, cap lights, gear, horn, bell, fire door, injector, starter breaker. Huh. I can remember it being a set of keys. But I guess we're doing scroll wheel instead. Yeah, apparently I overloaded traction motors. So we're just gonna gather up speed. We need to go here anyway, so... Where did I set the switch? You can see the D6 demonstrator over there, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear that. Because the traction motors were blown. Why is my camera too low? And with traction motors were blown, so yeah. Yeah, this is a rear railed. And as you can see, it has a manual shift pattern. Like you have to you have to close the throttle, shift to your desired gear, and then throttle again. So we have DH4 and DE2. Entirely dependent on the loads I want to pull. I'm still quite annoyed at myself that I oversped that corner. But it was nice that I could pay it off immediately, so I can stay debt free. This would be a very good load to do, although potentially quite challenging. I'm not gonna do it then. Don't have the thing. Goods factory 320 or 318. This is still quite sketch. This one is no. This one maybe, that one maybe. It's all load and prepare, you know? To go to the harbor. So we have... I'd rather go to the goods factory then, because that is just one proper short line. Let's see, am I still within... I'm gonna grab... Yeah, Actually, you know... Let me... Where is that really big one? Is it this one? Yes. The reason I'm hesitant about this one is even though it says that that part is flat, it really isn't. And I'm skeptical if I can push the DE6 or DH4, which is 600 tons, with a 741 ton load. And I have to find the cars first, which is, I think, 3 pickups. No, I want it in here, so it's easier to find. That's 39. That's 50. 50 right here as well. Wait, it's 150 and the rest is all somewhere else. I could, you know, I could, hopefully I have this, but I could do all the shunting jobs. It's a little bit boring. It'll probably fill up everything, but doing all the shunting jobs is a bunch of money. And if I can use a DE2 first, then I will generate a lot of money without using much fuel. But if I play it smart, I might as well use a DH4. Oh, all of them have despawned already. Well, that means that all I have is these 3 jobs. At least this be a 50. 32. There are 32, 74, or else. Or 50. This one of the jobs that has despawned. That's a 32 still. Then we separate into a 71. 50. Before 74 is a single. There's a single car's worth of 74 here, with 71 behind the. Oh well. Now I'm getting second. Now I'm doubting myself if I do want to do the shunting, because I threw so much away. There isn't really a lot to. Because if I didn't throw everything away, I would have a way to, you know, move everything together. Like, oh, this one will connect that one to there, and then we'll connect that together, put air on it, then we'll connect it up to something else. You can pull that to its destination and eventually just sort everything out. Probably won't fit in all the outbound lanes, but maybe. Yeah, let me just throw them all away then. And probably grab 2 of these with DH4. That's why a job didn't pop up when I was using 7. Like, sometimes my 7 key doubles itself. So 3 on 3. There and there. Grab the H4, move that way. Because that is north, according to my compass, or almost north. As north as the exit goes. And then we should be back in business making some resemblance of money. I should turn my fan on. There we go. Fan is now turned on. There we go. And also, a heads up for next week. There won't be any streams next week. Because I don't do IRL streams, and I'm gonna be in London at that point. So yeah, I'm gonna be gone from Tuesday to Tuesday. So yeah. Although if you are wanting to see my stuff still, you are more than welcome on the YouTube side of things, where under the same name I upload VODs. Alright, well. And there are still a couple coming out these days because I forgot for like 3 weeks. I forgot to upload and do stuff, so I ended up doing it this way where I basically set it to every... I'm not gonna make it. I made it! Haha! Smooth. And of course such the rain. Fuel cut off, used. Yeah, after that week there will be more streams in the start of October, basically. Because, you know, everybody needs a week off at some point. It doesn't even have to be an entire week, it can just be like a couple of days, but just, you know, going. Like not having the worries of a job.
But you need money, Joe.
Hello. Yes. But I've already experienced with one of the project leaders that can be quite stressful. Because they had they were supposed to have a meeting at some point, like yesterday. And they cancelled the meeting like 15 minutes before. And then they planned it during our lunch. And they sent the email 5 minutes after it started. So we already went and had lunch, as one does. But in the meantime, they missed a meeting where they did decide that the company should do some stuff. Which
nice.
Wasn't talked through with us. Which can be seen as a
communication with employees. Why would you do that?
No, this was basically between companies.
Oh.
Like for a project, they just decided, oh yeah, you're doing that bit. Without notifying us or talking it through with us first if we even have the possibility of doing it. Well, I mean, it was part of a project, so... Yeah, but I'm noticing already that our engineering department is sort of overworked a little bit.
Huh.
So it's a good thing that I'm starting there and somebody else is as well. So we've been there for almost a month now.
I see. I just accidentally beat Silksong.
On stream or?
Yes.
Ah, good.
But I thought there was a third act, so I didn't realize it was the final boss.
Hmm.
Well, I did think it was the final boss, but then I heard somewhere that there was a third act. So I was like, oh, I guess it's not the final boss. So maybe there is a third act. Like, there probably is a third act, but you gotta, like, unlock it.
Yeah.
Hold on. There's definitely multiple endings, because Hollow Knight had multiple endings. Yeah, there is okay, so there is an Act 3.
Also, Jim,
Because the ending I just reached was cryptic as shit. Yeah?
I did something for the first time today when driving. Just calling.
Okay.
Like, but I was smart about it because I don't have a hands-free. There used to be a hands-free device in the car, but I removed it because I don't like those. So yeah, and I basically used one of my earbuds connected to the phone, so I could use it hands-free.
Okay.
Because my dad wanted to talk with me, and I was driving to the hardware store because I bought a life hammer for in the car. You know, one of those. Do you even have one of those in your car or your mom's car? One of those orange hammers.
I think so?
Ones that are used to either cut through your seatbelt and just hit the corner of your window.
Yeah, I think they're
just,
in the door.
Yeah, I put one of them in my door. And also, I might have a driving challenge ahead of me next year. Because my dad still wants to go to Le Mans with me. You know, the 24-hour race. Where instead of it being one afternoon or a couple hours that they drive, like in Formula 1, it's not a lap race, it's a time race. And the thing is, it's in Le Mans, it's in France. If I want to drive there, and I want to avoid toll roads because I'm cheap like that, it's 9 hours. And because my dad is in Spain, I'm not expecting him to actually go to the Netherlands first and then go to France, because it is just, if you think about it, quite wasteful. Like, you're going up north to go back south again. That's just dumb. But then I have to somehow get to Le Mans in either 2 days or 1 day. If I want to do it in 1 day, I need to have somebody else with me that can drive. Because then you can switch, you know, you can, like, alright, one of them is, like, every 2 hours you do stints, 2 hours and then switch to the other one can drive, and then 2 hours and switch again. So you can, you know, stay fresh and focused, because you're driving in France and French people can't drive. Also, one of the reasons I want to avoid toll roads is you avoid Paris. Imagine having to drive through Paris. But one of the reasons why I want to drive to France is a French car, you know, it's Twingo. and driving a French car in France. Like, basically being like, this is where you were born. This is where they came up with you. Yeah, that is next year. It's like June of next year. So it gives me enough time to ask either a friend or get a partner that can drive. So then you can drive together. Also, Jim, it's a shame we didn't do the podcast on like tomorrow because I saw a really good article today
Oh no.
about how poverty still heavily influences children. Like they still see, they don't, like if they ask like how do you see the future, poor children generally give a bad answer about that. Like they don't see the future as bright and as well as
Oh yeah.
richer children or children that live in a household where there is enough money to go around.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
And also that often if there's poverty that is stacked with another thing like domestic violence, like alcohol or drug abuse.
Why does my brain immediately go to that version of Bury the Light that's like about his about the child support?
Yeah, I guess. Yes, am I? Oh, I'm so happy. Both of them have to go to D5 inbound. But yeah, I read that basically. I was like, yeah, that is kind of true. If you can't do anything you want to do because it is cheap, because you have to do it cheaply. Oh great, my Wi-Fi's dipping for some reason. I'm dropping frames. Yay. But yeah, if you live in poverty, you can't do everything you want to do. Even vacations, like, you know, as a child, we basically went on vacation once every 2 years. Because, due to my dad being my dad, he didn't give any explanation. Like, he didn't allow my mom to see how much money we had, sort of, like, in such a way that mom didn't know what we had to spend. Like, she didn't know if we had money. So in that scenario, you're just assuming worst case. You're just assuming, I don't know how much money there is. I'm just assuming there is no money. So that's basically what I sort of grew up on. But it is just, I mean, if you don't have everybody talking about going on vacation like twice a year and all that stuff, you're like, yeah, instead of going twice per 1 year, I'm going once per 2 years. And also, like, that's still a funny story about my childhood, which can be seen as sad, but I see it's kind of weird. Like, when I was like probably 7 or 8, they wanted to, oops, going quite fast. They wanted to sort of, we had this little thing where you had to write about your weekend, like what you've done. But me, I generally didn't really do a lot apart from just, like, basically nothing. So I was always done within 2 sentences. Like, of course, it was a nice incentive to get children to write about stuff. Because, you know, they have to write about their weekend, so they have to think back, what have I done? And then they learn how to write about stuff in a coherent and proper way. But if you haven't done it, if you don't really do stuff during your weekend, like if all you're doing is playing games on a tablet, because, you know, you're not going out, we rarely did stuff as a family together, then yeah. Eventually the teacher straight up asked if I could write more than 2 sentences. Because I would just legit just write 2 lines, and then, or 2 sentences, just like, yeah, that was my weekend. Like, do I have to go into detail about the games I played? Eventually I just started doing that because, well, yeah. But apart from that, nothing much. But that is just what happens when you have... Because I'm only now realizing that my child might be slightly problematic, but I don't care. That's in the past. Can't do much about it now. But if you have a... If you see a child basically, like, so let's say you have to write stuff about your... Like that story that I just told about writing stuff about your weekend. And you see one child that's consistently not really writing anything. Like, wouldn't that be a cause for concern? Like, wouldn't it be concerning that a child is basically doing nothing during their weekend? Like, no family activities, nothing? Not, like, rarely was we went to grandparents. Like, it was rare. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't raise any alarms at school, because school is also a place where they look after you, hopefully. You know, where they keep slight tabs on you, like, are you still doing stuff you need to do? Like, are you... Because if you have a child that is not really doing well, and you kind of find out its home situation at home, then it might be incredibly awkward, but asking about it is the best thing you can do at that point. Like, sound an alarm, let some people take a look at it, or try and get help. Like, the parents might not like it. They'll probably despise it because you're sort of interfering with their entire household. But if it improves situation for the child, then yeah. Yeah. Welcome to my streams, where I occasionally just randomly trauma dump. Yay! And then, but only realize it while I'm talking. Because that's the thing, right? You only realize how bad it was after you after you talk about it. Like, otherwise you think it's just normal. And only after you realize that it is not normal, or like, oh well, I guess. I mean, as I said already, it's in the past, can't really do anything about it. Like, would be I don't think the teacher's even working anymore. Well, she still is. Imagine me randomly writing about my weekend and just sending it to, like, my primary school. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Jim?
Yeah.
I should actually message school again with the question
What?
about helping with the like I want to say open days, but just like
Yeah.
that stuff where schools just like, we're gonna let parents and children look around a little bit, give them a little conversation, like potential new students. Because if I can help with that, I mean, the food is delicious. They have great Indian food there. Like, you just get a catering service out there, and you just get a time slot. You just arrive there, you have your food, and then you basically do nothing apart from maybe show some people around. Basically, you do like we do this there, and then, yay, you might have new students at a school you're not even on anymore. Like, yeah, there's the SO60 demonstrator. Like the little steam engine with no range at all. It's right there. But that would potentially be fun, although you would be sacrificing half a day's work for it. Which might not be worth for like a €10 gift card and a chocolate bar. I might want to slow down. Listen, Jim, if you're looking, are you looking for volunteering work somewhere?
No.
Aw. So you don't want to go work at the Steam Tram Museum?
No.
Because they're looking for people both like in the shops and everything, conductors, but also technical. Like, they're looking for firemen. Like, don't you want to run a steam engine? Like, just basically past your house? If you can find somebody else to take over the lost train, you can just ask, like, can we stop there? And you can just walk home.
Yeah, I don't think that's how that works.
I feel like you might be able to get it done.
I don't think so.
Would be funny though.
I would assume that one person asking for them to stop the train,
Well,
not even at a station.
well, it doesn't. It's like when I went with it Sunday. It also just stops at random places. So yeah. It doesn't really matter. You will still be able to like, you will trust me, you'll still be able to get the like, you might actually be able to just straight up go home through like, if you skip the first and the last, like, to where you can get on the train at your house and get off at your house. Almost. And otherwise, it's not that far away. But it's a fun train ride. Like, I'm not sure if you're, Jim, if you're the person that goes to a lot of museums, but if you're going for like more than 4 or 5 a year, which this goes for everyone that's in the Netherlands, right? Like, if you are going, if you want to go to a lot of museums, but you don't really want to, you know, buy tickets for every single one of them every time, because that gets expensive really quickly. You can get a card, like a museum card, which is 75 a year, which might sound expensive, until you realize a single museum is already 20 euros. So, 4 museums, so you go to 4 different museums, and boom, you've already technically made a profit, or at least saved money. And some museums are even more expensive. Oh, it's still on. Annoying. So, because the Steam trim is like 40 bucks per person. Just weirdly expensive. But I guess you have to pay for the coal, they have to pay for the for the upkeep of the stations. You know, they have to pay for the tracks. They are running the entire service. Wait, how much fuel do I have left? Enough. So I'm just gonna stop the train. Turn the jobs in. Also, Jim, I started with a lot of money. And then I derailed. Then I lost a bunch of money.
Nice.
I went around a corner too quickly. And then it was like, whoops. It said 70. But it wasn't 70. So now we're back up to 68. I'm gonna grab a drink real quick. I'll be right back. Jim, can you entertain chat again?
Wait, I had something I came up with to talk about the chat, but I don't remember what it was. What was it, Joe?
I don't know. There's also an ad starting in like 20 seconds, so...
Oh, was it it was the Hunter story. Well, then I'll wait for the ad.
Well, it's gonna start in 13 seconds, but I'll be right back.
Okay. What's the ad? He's gone. Okay. So how long? When does the ad start? How long does it last? I don't know. I don't see the ad yet, so maybe there's not an ad. I don't know. Um, Whatever. I suppose I'll just like start entertaining you then. I don't. Is there an ad? I don't know. I also just realized that the Hunter story is a little bit grim. So, uh, viewer discretion is advised, I suppose. So, in the Victorian era, actually, maybe I should explain what the themes are if I'm gonna do that. It's about in the Victorian era. It's there medical studies. So like you know they would like take a carcass and like dissect it. It's about that. So because they did that right, like they dissected bodies to get uh medical knowledge, right, to understand how a person works. And the way that this worked in a school at the time usually was that the teacher would have a carcass, they would dissect it, and all the students would just watch and take notes and all that. For this, there were already too little bodies because obtaining bodies that are you're allowed to have and that are still like usable was kind of a problem. And you may know that this is where those cages came from that people put over graves that some people think were because they believed in vampires. So that no, it's not that. It's because people were straight up stealing your grandmother. So people put a cage over it. uh so yeah. Um at this time, you had the Hunter brothers. And the oldest one was a teacher at a school at a university. Oh, he's back.
Oh,
Screw you! I'm gonna continue the story.
I was hoping.
So he promised all his students would have their own carcasses to dissect. Now, as I mentioned, there were already not enough just to have the normal way where a teacher would do it and the class would just watch. He had about 100 students per period, which means he would need about 100 carcasses per period. You can see where this is going. His younger brother has been spotted grave robbing. There is also evidence to suggest that his younger brother kidnapped people to, so that they would have bodies. Yeah.
Sounds
But there
like
was
medieval schooling.
one major.
Almost sounds like really like 1600s, 1700s
1800.
medicine.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
1800s. But there's one thing that the older brother really wanted, and that is at the time, medical knowledge about pregnancy was very sparse because dissecting a pregnant woman was really difficult because they rarely had a pregnant woman. Like, a pregnant woman rarely died. They would die after childbirth. That was very common. But during it, because, during it, they would have people take care of them. They were usually young and healthy. They were fine. But he wanted to change that. He wanted to know all about all the stages of pregnancy.
Yeah.
And it's quite likely that his younger brother kidnapped and killed pregnant women so that he could dissect them. We still use the knowledge that he obtained to this day because obviously it was science. It was, he did discover things. But the way that it happened,
The way that knowledge was obtained.
yeah.
Like, this knowledge has been sponsored by dead pregnant women.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too good now, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, so we're
Anyway,
going to City
that was the
South
story.
again.
Next time on Bush version, story of Lawrence. I don't know his last name.
Ah, yes. But I have a drink, which means I have more energy. Because
Nice.
water can give you... Like, this isn't water, this has sugar added to it, of course. I'm not gonna say what kind of drink it is. Because I'm not sponsored by them. Also, Jim, I feel like I know when I want to do the drinking stream. You might not agree with it, but it's my channel. I get to do what I want.
How dare you? But what about all of those, like, 16,000 or something channel points that I use?
Um, 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 how did I do this? I need to jump in. I need to, Jim. um, this is a screenshot. I'm multi-track drifting, I guess. And someone managed to set the switch perfectly for so one set of wheels went one way, but the other set of wheels went the other. So then you have your train running on two tracks at the same time. But you know, to balance out a sugary drink, I have tomatoes. Because a snack. I just have to wait for a rare set of wheels to go past. Yes, they have gone past now. So now we... flip the switch again, open up the door. Right now it should be fine. Yep, I'm also going slightly fast. Also, getting used to a new phone is weird. Especially if you've been locked out of everything. Like, I had to do my banking app, my government identification app, you know. Like in the Netherlands, you have DigiD, which is basically an easy digital way to log into government websites. Where you put in a code to log in. Like, you first have to put a PIN code, a 5-number PIN code in. So, for example, like 12345. And then you can basically ask for a code to connect that gives you a 4-letter code, like not numbers, letters, like A, B, C, D, that you put that in. Then you have to scan a QR code. Like on my PC, like you have on your computer, you'd have your stuff as well. Yeah, I'm gonna go the steel mail route again. Like I'm gonna go down here, up here, through here, there, instead of this. But like you have to put in a 5-number PIN code. You have to put in a... Please let it be this. Nope, it isn't. Well, walking towards the back it is. You have to put in a 5-number PIN code. You have to put in a 4-letter code as a way to say it to your computer from your phone. Like, hey, these two devices want to connect to each other. You can hear the brakes already. And after that, you use your phone to scan a QR code on your computer screen to then say, this is me, I want to log in. And then it logs you in. And then you're allowed onto the website, which is an incredibly secure way to make sure that it's actually you that's logging in, because you might have your login stuff, but you still have to know the PIN, you have to do a bunch of stuff. And what else are they capable of doing? Pay your taxes? I have to refresh my Twitch stuff again. So I drank another glass, so that's another mark that's now done. So there's progress on the drinking. Alright, well that is driving forward. I'm gonna do a cheeky run and activate the job and then run towards my train again. Like, it's almost over the weight limit, but it's a lot of money. It's really gonna boost myself back up to the 100,000 mark. Wait, isn't there a shop here as well? Doesn't this shop have a key? Wait, I do have a shovel here. Hold on. I want to buy a shovel, a lighter, filler gun, expert shovel, clinometer. Yep, that's all. Lighter, shovel. So I can now, if I decide, if I want to, I can run steam engines. I can light I can light the fire. I can light the coals that I shoveled in there. If you first use this one, I first use this to shovel and then you light it and then boom. Nice, B1 inbound. Like my desk is pretty full. I might want to actually clean it up. Because I can't really put my tomatoes anywhere. And I want my tomatoes to be within reach because, you know, tomato consumption. Because who doesn't like tomatoes? They're delicious. They provide a good amount of hydration as well. And also, while on the way home, I could finally drive at normal speeds. Because apparently it's really difficult for people to do the speed limit. If the sign says 100, do 100. Don't do 90 or 80. Just do the speed limit. And everybody gets home a lot safer. And quicker. Because nothing's more annoying than being stuck behind slow people. Or people that drive at inconsistent speed. I can still remember that, Jim, from driving back home. Like when we went to the other side of the country. Where we were almost back. But I was using cruise control, but there was somebody in front of us that did 100, then went back to 90, so I had to turn the cruise control off and brake a little. But when I was doing 90, they went 100 again, so I went up to 100 and turned on the cruise control. But by that time, they went back to 90 again. Like, they have no pedal control. In the meantime, I'm starting to master it. Right, the uphill bit is going to be a struggle, and hopefully it's going to stay dry. But I think we'll make it. I have a suspicion. Confirmed my suspicion. I didn't connect the air. Come on. Slow down. Where's the handbrake on these cars? On the side, of course. That was imagine having over 500 tons of train behind you, trying to brake on a downhill, realizing your brake doesn't do anything, and then realizing that you may have connected your cars together, but you haven't connected the air hoses yet. Meaning that your entire train that is behind you is just unbraked. It doesn't. Usually on a train, every car has its own set of brakes, so every car can slow down. Makes it safe. Otherwise, the locomotive has to do all the work. I'm surprised I didn't flat spot the wheels. And sadly, that does mean that I'm slow now. It may also be because my brakes are now basically fully applied. Because my main reservoir, my brake pipe are basically empty. Like now we have the brake that is slowly releasing. Which means my speed should slowly be going up. Yeah, that was sketchy. Yeah, so I have a bunch of. Should I make an Excel sheet for this, or should I just write it on a piece, keep writing on a piece of paper? Because right now I have to drink 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 111. And so far I've drank 10, 20, 30. Hold on. 10, 20, 30, 35, 39. So if we grab the calculator, because I'm too lazy to calculate, 111 minus 39, I still have to drink 72 drinks. 0.2 is the average glass, so that is a total of 14.4 liters of drink of water or other liquids in a container that I'm gonna have to consume until I'm back up to the normal, or to the drinking thing. So I guess pouring another glass is the best course of action, because it would bring it back down to a nice, should be 14.2 liters, but these glasses are quite big. And also, it's not always 0.2, it's sometimes 0.8, because then I have my enormous mug that I drink out of, which is actually like an actual arm training to use. You won't just do it for your, it's like a quick, you know, thirst quencher. It's just like, alright, I'm gonna have this mug. It's gonna take almost an hour to cool down to drinking temperature, and then I can drink it. And after that, it's basically you can set a stopwatch to see how long it takes for you to drink all that, and then have to take a piss. Because what goes in must come out. That's another one of those quotes that if I ever get to buy a house in this economy, I'm gonna put that on a tile as well. They're just on the toilet and it just said, what goes in must come out. You don't need a lot of imagination to figure out what that is referring to. And then you can also realize how immature I actually am. I could have taken that one, but I'm not risking it right now. Like, I would be bringing 50 tons of dead weight with me, and I'm already quite close to my limit here with 574 out of the 600. If we're at almost full tilt, I barely do 40. Also, I was almost running out of work yesterday. And I feel like I'm gonna keep running out of work a little bit, but I at least got we got a couple new drawings in. Almost went to the farm. Oh, please quit whining about the overheating. I need all the oomph I can get to get up this hill. Because we are going to, like, we're currently at this hill. Like, we are rounding this corner. Then we go left, then we go straight, then we go right. Then we go to the coal mine south. Instead of the coal mine east, and then we can look around. Then we go all the way back down to city south, bring this into the museum to give it its service, like add fuel and everything, and then continue driving on. Also, I need to bring my sim racing gloves with me tomorrow. Because one of my colleagues has been sort of saying he's going to defeat everyone. Even though he has also said he doesn't really have any experience with sim racing. So I'm just going to bring my gloves with me. And then show him what's good. By driving in front, hopefully. There's one other person that might be more skilled than I am. But we'll figure that one out when we get there. So basically left, left, right. Yeah. That is entirely dependent on how much I want to try hard. You know, I'm not sure if they, because here in Netherlands we're going to Race Square, which is just this place where you can sim race. Like, you can do sim racing, which is, I'm not sure if there are a lot of places out there like that, but it is definitely interesting. Like, it is just Formula 1, so you drive a modern Formula 1 car with, you know, modern circuits. You don't have the freedom. But the one in my hometown that is gone now has some, like, it had a set of course as a base. Like, it's just a modded game, but that did mean that I already knew about it, which gives you a slight advantage when actually racing, because you know how the engine behaves, and also just knowing the track works. Because when I was there lost with a company, like, I just decimated everyone with half a minute by 8 laps. All because, you know, I knew the track, Zandvoort, because Dutch. It's kind of annoying. I want to drive on a different circuit as well, but yeah. And just a lot of people that, I was probably the youngest there, so there's that. Also, it's weird to think that I'm gonna be 21 this year. Like, then I can do everything because I'd be 21. That means that I can actually drink in all places, like the United States, where no, you can't touch alcohol, but here, have a gun. Yay, United States. It's probably fucked. Like, you're not really, like, I'm not sure if a lot of people are already leaving the States because of all the stuff that has been going on. I'm so surprised that they rehired Jimmy Kimmel after firing him. Like, he also said he's gonna continue bashing Trump. He's gonna continue, but like, saying insulting things, which leads me to believe that Jimmy Kimmel might be the key to bankrupting Disney.
What the fuck? Hold on, I wasn't paying attention, and then I suddenly hear in my ear bankrupting Disney.
Yes. Here's the plan. Right? Jimmy Kimmel has been rehired, but he said he's gonna keep, you know, making fun of Trump. Or saying stuff about him.
You should just do that more now, actually.
Yeah, but here's my idea. They rehired Jimmy Kimmel after Disney lost billions and billions, to put in Trump's words. So they rehire him, but then he says some other stuff about Trump, so he gets fired again, loses Disney billions and billions again.
Right.
Gets rehired, and you just keep repeating that trick until the company's gone.
So how is this a plan exactly?
All he has to do is just keep like basically insulting Trump, and keep getting rehired by Disney, and the company will
That's
be
not gonna
gone.
happen.
Aw, would be funny.
I don't want Disney to go bankrupt. I want them to just make good movies like they used to.
Yeah, good luck.
Which I suppose if they go bankrupt, someone will buy them and maybe fix it, I guess. But
Maybe fix it. You're saying that
because they will definitely be bought. That's the thing.
yeah, somebody will buy. No, I guess what they will do first is stay afloat is sell all their studios.
Yeah.
Which means
Well, that means that maybe Star Wars can be saved.
I was about to say, that means that Star Wars can probably be bought. Like, hopefully for cheap.
Yeah, then we can buy it.
Yeah, but what are we gonna do?
I saw
with it?
something very funny today. Mujin's latest video is on a Kickstarter where the people involved just didn't know what they were doing, and the boss of the company is trying to avoid lawsuits. Lawsuits that people want him to pay like 2 billion or something.
Yeah.
But what happened is it was a Kickstarter for a game that a lot of people were looking forward to. But then it turned out that they just didn't have any idea what they were doing, right?
Yeah.
The website, the official website for that game is now on sale. And Mujin is buying the website.
Nice. Like, just buy the website.
I don't know what
and
he's
just,
gonna do with it, but he'll say, yeah, I'll buy it.
just make it link to your own
'Cause
YouTube.
that's how horribly wrong it went. That website is just really cheap right now.
That means you royally messed it up. Wow. You first create massive hype around a game, which is once you've managed to do that, you're already set. Like all you have to do is publish the game, and you've probably already made a profit. But then you mess it up. If it almost choke. Yeah. Ouch. Now my throat hurts. Because tomato is sour on the inside. You know, the juice of a tomato is kind of I want to say corrosive, but not really a lot. I mean, it's not gonna burn through, but it will bite a little bit. So almost choking on a tomato hurts. Yeah, man. Speed up. I don't. Oh yeah, I don't have to. I need to remember to drive to a hotel tomorrow for a meeting. Because we're first going to have a meeting within meeting room 1. But then the CEO of the mother company, the company that owns our company, is coming in here, so they basically kicked us out of that room. Which means we're gonna have to go external for our meeting. which we immediately, which a couple of them immediately, I want to say abused, but they made use of that scenario and basically said, right, we're going to a, like a restaurant, hotel type thing, where we're gonna have lunch as well. So I'm gonna have breakfast, then I'm gonna drive there. You're welcome from like 8. The meeting officially starts at 9. So all I'm gonna be, also I don't really have to be involved in the meeting. I'm basically just there to listen and, you know, make sure that I, if possible, I can be ready for next meeting. And potentially raise some points. But that's pretty much gonna be 3 hours from like, or 4, from like 8 to 12. So then I have half a days of work. And then and then around 16:45, you know, quarter till 5, we're gonna be have a like party a little bit. So so that's when the race car happens and the and laser tag. So that's gonna be fun to do. But I feel like I'm kinda gonna struggle with the laser tag. I do have a tactic, which is sit in a corner around the edge on the ground. They expect you to be eye level. They don't expect you to be low. Preferably want to lay on the floor and just shoot. They do run the risk of tripping someone. That would be somewhat funny. Like having somebody trip over you because you were just hiding. Well, it depends on the terrain. We are at the museum now. Let me play a little bit of break. Just have to start slowing us down, I say, as we're accelerating. Imagine a demonstrator here. Because that building is a museum. No. um, I was saying, Jim. I was saying it would be fun if there was a demonstrator at the museum, and then there is one. I'm gonna have to clip that and make a short out of that. If I don't forget to do that, because that is very funny actually. Like, if only there was a demonstrator at the museum. Do I just tow it in immediately? I want to try something first, actually. First, I have to make sure I'm fully in, which I'm not. So we're gonna let go of the brake. And keep rolling, keep rolling. What is the last car? Just a green container. That is the end of the line. I'm gonna re-rail it and try and use the handcar to push it. Like let go of the brakes and just gently make it go. But then we potentially start trips from City South to the machine factory. Because there is in it, that's why I was looking for the key to this shed there. To that shed. Because in there is the DM1U, which is... Here, DM1U 150. Utility rail vehicle. It is just used to carry railway equipment. Nice. At 69 minutes and did in 31. Got almost 50,000. And a job. I mean, this is kind of interesting. Like, it's a very light load. And it is towards the harbor. Which means we're at the harbor again, which means it's good because the harbor is a place with a lot of stuff. Alright, we have the DH4 demonstrator here. Re-rail. Where are you the cheapest? Go home. Sure, man. Sure, let me, Let me then use my flashlight to locate the air release. Where are you? There you are. I just overlooked it. You know. Oh no, my light is almost empty. Cab fan. Horn works. Alright, we are going to gently bump against it. Alright, this should work better. Nope, it doesn't work. Sad. Which means we have to grab that DH4, drive it all the way back, connect it to this DH4, push that into its position, which means I'm going to disconnect the air. What am I doing? Why walk when you can rail car? And all you have to do is just like generate a certain amount of speed. Bye. Whee! That's funny. Bright lights, yes. Actual running locomotive. Power on. Gently move forward. Not too fast, because I don't need to go fast. I just need to move a switch over. Switch that is coming up. Yep, there it is. Which means on the brakes we go. Switch has been switched. Alright. And Jim, we still have to, for next week, I know I've already said it, but I'm going to say it again for the podcast. We will probably have to do it on Monday. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do it for my phone.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you want me to do the podcast from my phone.
No.
Just being in a Discord call through, like, on my phone.
Not really, unless you have a really good mic you can use for your phone.
I don't, so I'll sound like I'm actually on the phone, which I would be.
A part of me wants to say that it would be very funny.
Yeah. I'm also missing a work meeting
But,
about like work behavior and such. You know, the code of conduct
We'll
type
do it on
deal.
Monday.
Like that meeting is on like the 7th of October and I'm not back home yet at that point. So I did look through it and it basically says don't be a dick. And we all know, and everybody is immediately joking like, are you gonna have to ask a question for like a hand? Are you gonna like ask them if you are allowed to shake their hand? Or potentially if you, like you have to ask them if you can ask them a question? You know, those type of things. Just HR related stuff. Are they ruined brakes, or the ruined DH4 brakes still on? The brakes are still slightly dragging, but we're moving forward. There we go. Derail Valley Railway Museum. Cannot place it outside. Fine, I'll put it up there. Eventually, once it's gonna charge, we know it's daytime. If it stops charging, it's nighttime. We want to go on that track. That goes to the museum. Still can't get over the fact that at the museum there's a demonstrator. Like, it's the exact same model, but the only difference between running this red one and running the demonstrator would be that the demonstrator doesn't bring those service fees with it. It's trying to fill the reservoir up. Like, that's what you're hearing, the compressor running. It's kind of nice you can actually hear that. Alright, let's check the turntable to see if that's correct, and I can just drive right in. So probably wouldn't have made it if I brought the DM3 with me. But I do have a piece of paper that says where they are. Is it this one? No. Where is the piece of paper that basically says, oh yeah, these trains are here? It's all junk paper, I guess. Yes. It's not this one. It's not this one. It's still to do that one. There it is. Well, I found it. So, DH4. Which was at City South. All I need is a DE2. Yeah, that's all I need. The DM3 and the DE6 are at the steel mill. The SO60 is at a goods factory. The S282 is at the City West. Alright, where are the lights for this place? It is really dark out here now. And the turntable definitely isn't lined up. Right now, where are the lights? Mm-hmm. Fully understandable. Now, where are the lights that turn here into a lit up area? Well, let me actually look that up. Let's grab my phone. And I'm quite happy with my new phone. The fact that it has its fingerprint sensor on the side on the power button instead of what is the news? Spiders? Oh, they're saying that spider season is coming in the Netherlands. It's on a pillar. What are the devs thinking? Putting a light switch on a pillar. I have my suspicion it is around that pillar. Because that is the turntable. Like, because my flashlight is almost empty, I don't really want to use it that often. Oh, there it is. Why is it there? Ooh. Yes. Switches. If you show me a switch, I'm gonna flip the switch. We. Alright, look, this is where the S060 goes. It looks beautiful. Like, it goes here, the DH4 goes here, the 282, the D6. DM3. D2. But I have to move it over a little bit. Not here. That is it. That is steam. I want diesel. Specifically diesel hydraulic. Right, now it is correct. Yes, it is. I'm gonna undo the brakes. Undo this. And then power this beast of a machine all the way in there. Yeah, to home order missing parts, bring missing part, install, repair, and fuel paint job. Oof, it is rough. Right, and then we turn it to go this way. Right, that I am gonna use the turntable, or at least turntable. Can I use controls on this? Oh yes, I finally can. Oh, that is so nice. And I used to be able. This used to be a missing function. This is so much nicer. Oh, this is nice. Like I can just remote turntable, then rush in, reverse. Yeah, I guess the fuel is over there, and there is that, so... I'm able to reach the fuel thing. I'm able to connect that one all the way to there. If that means backing it up a lot, then that means backing it up a lot. My wallet, no. Me wallet. It doesn't like this. It doesn't like a 21,000 repair bill. Why did my mind go from, instead of Bill as in paying, to Bill as in the name? Like short for William. So you're not getting a repair Bill, you're getting a repair William. Let me put my phone on the stand. Yeah, going to London should be fun.
How was that an S rank? I nearly died.
Nearly, but you didn't.
Yeah.
Right, only 755. So I'm gonna deafen myself on Discord real quick. And hopefully this button works now. Nope, it doesn't. Well, we have to do it manually today. Because Stream Deck doesn't wanna function. So yeah, if you like what you saw and want to see, I'm gonna ending it soon, but if you like what you saw and want to see more of it, make sure to let me know through chat, views, any other means of letting me know that you liked it. And yeah, next stream will be Friday, will be Stormworks, we'll be messing with Lou a little bit more, continuing the refit of that ship, maybe doing some more interior work, at least trying to make things better. And yeah, I wish everybody a very pleasant evening, night, morning, or afternoon. And for me, I'm gonna have to look over there now. Goodbye.